Hi, I'm Carla Schaefer, and I'm going to demonstrate how to make a flat even count peyote tube bead. I'm going to go over the list of supplies needed for this project. I'm going to be using two different colors of an 8/0 seed bead. Of course, you can do it in a solid, but for this purpose, I decided I was just going to do a black and a white so that you could see how they fit together. So I'm going to be using two colors of 8/0 seed beads. I'm going to be using a number 10 needle. I'm also going to be using Fireline. In my case, I'm going to be using crystal and a pair of nipper tools. The first thing that you'll need to do is cut about 2 feet of the Fireline using your nipper tool. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to bead the needle. And Fireline sometimes can be tricky, so what I like to do is I like to kind of flatten the end of the Fireline using my finger and my fingernail. Then I'm going to put it between my fingers. And I'm going to take the needle, the eye of the needle, and all I'm going to do is just bring it right down over the top of that thread. And see how it just goes, you just end up pushing it right through the eye of the needle. So I'm going to pull it through and give myself a little bit of thread for a tail. And then we're going to string on our stop bead. Okay, the purpose of a stop bead is to obviously stop the beads from coming off the end of the thread. I like to use a contrast color or a different size seed bead if you have one available. I'm just going to go ahead and use one of the 8/0s that I'm going to be working with. And allow yourself, say, 6 to 8 inches of a tail. So you string the bead onto your Fireline, and then all you're going to do is you're going to bring your needle back through the bottom of the bead and bring it back up to form a loop around it. And what it does is it slides, so I can just bring it down like that, and that's going to stop the beads as I thread them on from coming off. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and thread our beads. And I'm going to be doing 8 beads wide in 6 rows. So I'm just going to thread 8/0 seed beads on, and I'm doing every other color. So I'm doing white, black, white, black, white, black. So then what you do is you bring these beads all the way down to your stop bead. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pick up our beads and start our peyote. So what we're doing now is just making a peyote strip, just like you've done in the past when you've done peyote. But the trick is when we bring it all together and make it into a tube. Okay, now I've got my black and white pattern here, and so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up a black bead, so it'll sit on top of this bead. So I'm going to pick the black up. And in peyote, what you do is you skip a bead. So I'm going to bring my thread through this second bead, in this case the white one, and pull. And what happens is the beads kind of start to stack on top of each other. And this really isn't going to take good form until you get about 3 rows. So the next thing I'm going to do is I pick up another black bead and I skip, go through the bead, continue this till we get to the end. And the reason why I'm going ahead and doing this tube is of the project that we have online. I took a lot of questions on it, and people were wanting to know how to zip the tubes up, so that's why we're doing this. So now that I've got this complete, as you can see, it's starting to take a little bit of a form. I like to flip my work over. You don't have to, but now I'm going to go ahead and flip it. Okay, I've picked up the white bead because now we're going to work the white. And if you can kind of see the little slots here, this is how I know what bead I'm going to pick up first, because right now I'm going to go ahead and fill in the white areas here. So I've picked up the white bead. I'm going to go through this black. And when it gets loose like this, just grab your tail and kind of pull it, and then pull this. So I'm going to pick up another white bead, go through this black, and see how they kind of just start filling in the slots. Now you can start to see it's starting to come together. Again, I flip my work over. You don't have to. You can work it backwards from that direction. Now I'm going to work this black We're going to do this until we have a total of 6 rows. Now you can really tell how it's starting to look. Okay, now we're near the end, and you can see that we have 2, 4, 5 on the black side and 5 on the white. So we have one more row to do. Actually, it's really going to end up being 2 more rows for it to come out even, but this is what I wanted to show you so you could see how many rows we're doing. We did 8 across, and we're going to do 6 up. Okay, now that I've got my 6 rows, here's 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6. Now I'm going to show you how to zip the tube up. And again, our little stop bead, you can just pull him down and out of the way. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring the tube in a U shape, or we're going to kind of fold it. And then you're going to kind of see how the little beads are going to fit into the slot here. So just keeping it just like this. Here's my thread coming out the end. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to come through this first bead, the black bead here. I'm going to go through the white one, kind of at an angle like that. I'm going to bring it through, kind of pull it. And then it really doesn't have to slot in quite yet. I'm going to go again through this black bead into this white bead. I'm going from one side to the other side, in case you're just doing a solid color. And again, I'm going to go from this side to this side. Now you can kind of see how they're starting to join together. And as I pull my tension, they'll come together even more. I'm going to go from this side to this side. Now that I've got them all joined together, I'm going to take this little tail and I'm going to pull it, and this one. And right here, you can kind of see that they're joining together, and it's still a little loose, but we're going to knot this. We're going to make a square knot right here, but this is how we've created our tube. Okay, now I'm just going to make a square knot, and I'm going to go ahead and pull this little stop bead off, and all you got to do is just yank it, pull it, it comes off, slips off. No unthreading necessary. So again, a square knot is left over right, right over left. We're just going to make a simple knot. So I still have one end threaded on my needle. Here's what we've done with our knot, and your knot will disappear. And again, we've joined the two sides together, and now we've got this nice little tube. So what I'm going to do, and this is just going to take my threaded end, and I'm just going to start working it back through the work. Don't need a knot or do anything else again. We're just going to start pulling it through. I like to go ahead and take it down another row, not the one that I just zipped. That's just a personal preference. And you don't have to bring it all the way through the end of the tube, but I do. Now that I've got it through this end, all I'm going to do is snip that with my nipper tool, and then we're just going to you just rethread the other tail with your needle and run it through as well.